Hello, I'm Andrea from the Creative Dream Incubator, and this is day 2 of 30 days of creative journals. Today, day 2, I woke up in a horrible mood. I had had this dream that was kind of just like, not like a bad dream, but just a little uncomfortable, and I had that dreamy hangover thing that didn't feel very good. I wasn't in a good place when I woke up this morning. And so I didn't do my regular drawing thing, even though that would have been very helpful. I was just too cranky to sit down and stay with it. I meditated just for like 5 minutes or so. And then I decided to go to the park. That was kind of helps to cheer me up. I got a coffee and a breakfast and went to the park. And so I used a different journal. I used this journal. A moleskin too, but it's a smaller one. I love the shape of it. This is my traveling journal. It's a great size. You can even hold it in your lap. Like if I'm sitting somewhere in a coffee shop, I don't want the whole world to see what I'm writing in my journal. I can hold it on my lap. It's a great size for that. So I took my travel journal, and here's today's journaling. So this is actually from a few days ago, after our last event in the Creative Dream Circle. That message to me was to work on, like, my next steps are to focus on believing in myself more. So I had done that, but that kind of tied into what I'm doing here. As you can see, it was a lot of writing and not a lot of drawing. Basically, I wanted to write the most honest thing that I could write about how I was feeling. So I wrote, I'm worried that it will all fall apart. And then I kind of switched gears to be like my coach self, because I find every time I'm talking to a client, the first thing they say about what's going on usually isn't really the problem. We have to dig a few layers down, right? So I'm worried it will all fall apart. So I asked myself, really? And for those, actually use different color pens so that I'm using purple to write me, and then like pink is my coach, the voice asking me questions. Really? And then I was like, sort of thought about it, and I was like, sort of trying to dig deeper into what I'm really feeling, and then I found, no, I'm worried that I'm not good enough. And then again, really? Yes, I'm feeling that, but there is something more. So it felt like something was tangled, and I couldn't see it. And then I kept asking questions, like, why? Why can't you see it? What's going on? And then what I found was disappointment. Feeling like whenever I feel disappointed, whenever things don't go quite as well as I'd hoped they would, I want to sweep that disappointment under the rug. And I want to, because even when things don't go as well as I wished they would have, they still go well, right? So if I had wanted, I don't know, 5 cars and I got 2.5 cars, well, you know, I can be upset about the 2.5 cars I don't have, or I can go, wow, I have 2.5 cars. I mean, whoa, this is awesome, right? So that choosing to focus on the positive can be really dangerous sometimes, even though it's also necessary sometimes. So it's a little tricky there. But when you're continually, as I had been, feel like I have been, continually pushing those disappointments aside, they stay there. You're not pushing them out anywhere. Hiding something under a rug doesn't get rid of it. So it just felt like, yeah, like if you've been hiding things under a rug, now you need to deal with them, because this new project is kind of asking you to start with a clean space. So it was really interesting, and that was maybe 5 minutes of just writing and sitting and thinking and exploring, how am I really feeling? It's really like trying to be as honest as I can about how I'm actually feeling about what's happening. It's like things have gone really, really well for me. I'm thinking about like this past year, things have been really good. And there have been places where I had hoped that things would be even better than they are. And then there's also the truth that sometimes I can't believe how well things are. So it can be very confusing. And I realized I have to find a way to be able to hold both. To be able to hold gratitude and appreciation and excitement for what I have, and also disappointment for what didn't go the way I had hoped, or things that didn't go my way. So I was like, oh, okay, if I have to find a way to hold both, that's when I drew them out. So I sort of noticed, how do they feel, right? So disappointment is this it felt like a hard, solid, dark block. And satisfaction, I figured satisfaction is kind of the opposite of disappointment. Satisfaction felt like a sun. So I was like, okay, well, I can hold that block, and I'm imagining holding it. It feels really heavy, but I can hold it. But satisfaction, the sun, I can't hold that. I can radiate it. So it's more like a way of being and less a thing to kind of deal with. So it's like, okay, I can't really hold both. But how can they interact together? How do they work together? And that's when I realized when I'm over here, kind of in the shadow of disappointment, the light of satisfaction can't get to me, right? It actually, because disappointment is the same size. And there's nothing is an accident when you're just like drawing things out in your journal, especially when you're not really thinking about it and just kind of doodling. It all means something. Your brain is amazing, right? So it's not like, oh, that block should be, it's not the size of the sun. No, it is. If that's how you dream it, that's how it is. And so I can fit there, and I can be in the shadow, and none of the satisfaction hits me, even though it's there. So I made a little sign that says, no people here. I shouldn't be there, right? I can be here. And when I'm there, satisfaction can shine on me. I can feel the satisfaction, and I can still see that the disappointment is there. I don't have to pretend that it's not there. So in that way, I get to be present with everything that I'm feeling, which is always such an incredible relief. I feel like I spend so much time running from or hiding from some of the feelings, but the relief always comes when I just find a way to be with them. So you don't hide from these things ever. Every time you try to like run or hide or pretend something isn't there, you're just stuffing it deeper down inside of you, so it has a bigger and bigger impact on you in ways that you don't even realize. So, all right. So then I realized I don't have to get rid of disappointment, but I just have to make sure that I stay in between disappointment and satisfaction. And then I was like, this is so cool. When I let the rays of satisfaction hit the block of disappointment, it sparkles. And so I sort of felt into disappointment. What is there? Why is it sparkling? Before it was feeling like this heavy, awful thing. Why does it sparkle? And I realized, well, disappointment has a lot of hope, right? If I hadn't had hope, if I hadn't been optimistic, if I hadn't set really big goals, I wouldn't be disappointed for not having met them. Disappointment has a lot of hope. Also, if I'm disappointed that I didn't get those things, it means I still want them. And suddenly disappointment didn't feel like anything bad at all. It's a compass. It's showing me, because when I started journaling, I was talking about how I'm feeling foggy and unsure. I'm not unsure at all. If I'm disappointed that I didn't have this, I'm sure I want it. So when I try to hide disappointment under the rug, what I'm doing is hiding my dreams under the rug. I'm trying to hide my desire under the rug. And that is why it's uncomfortable. That's what I closed with. So that's not the prettiest art journal page ever, but it's crazy helpful. I'm just feeling like, so I can kind of list out things that I feel disappointed about and then turn that into my list of things to work towards. And really, I think, I say this all the time, but when it comes to creative dreams, you can have anything. You can create anything, but you don't choose the timing of it. And you don't choose how exactly it's going to look like. Like, it might look different than you think once you start working on it, and it might take way longer than you think it should. But if you hold on to those dreams and stay in the process of it, you always get there. But so what I have been doing in trying to avoid my disappointment, I was putting those dreams away, because disappointment, you're acting like it's over, but it's not over if you're still here. So I feel really, really grateful right now for disappointment, for the gifts of disappointment, for disappointment showing me what I want to focus on next. Yeah, that was a really great day with my journal, and I will be back tomorrow. Goodbye. Hope you're having a great day.